Believe it or not, a lot of high income earners still feel fragile when it comes to their finances. And let me explain why. Just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean you keep a lot of money. We've had clients make into the six figures on a monthly basis, but guess what they spend? Six figures on a monthly basis. So just because you make more doesn't mean you keep more. You know, we used to have a really low burn rate, and I'll be completely transparent even with my own situation. You know, back in 2012 through probably 2015, we had a burn rate of $4,000 a month, which means anything I made above and beyond $4,000 was extra, right? And I was in the mortgage business and doing well, not lighting the world on fire by any stretch of the imagination, but that was our burn rate. Why was it so low? It was so low because I had came through a bankruptcy in 2008, and I'd learned my lesson because I wasn't going to duplicate the same mistakes. Where prior to 2008, still in the mortgage business, me and my wife, combined making hundreds of thousands of dollars in our early 20s. And what do you think we're doing with that money? I'm buying a big house, I'm buying her a nice car, I'm buying myself a nice car, I'm buying myself a second nice car, I'm buying myself a motorcycle, I'm buying myself a four-wheeler. We're going out to eat all the time, we're taking vacations all the time. So we have this myth and misconception that people who make a lot of money have a lot of money. And they're people. They're no different than your average Joe who's making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. In fact, sometimes I find healthier financial relationships are in the middle class. It's not in the upper class. In the upper class, everybody's trying to keep up with the Joneses. So-and-so has a bigger house, or they got a nicer pool, and now I'm competitive, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to build a bigger house and a nicer pool, etc. And we get stuck in that trap. So we actually find where finances are least efficient with high income earners. It's not the ones in the middle class. Now, at the point where you get into the low class, 100%. There's only so much you can shave off of your budget when you still have to put a roof on over your head and you got to put food on the table. Real life story, I was associated with somebody in the past and, they had never made six figures and they start working with me and now they make six figures. And for them, it was all about image. They were living in a smaller neighborhood, nothing wrong with this, but like 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath house. And now they're making multiple six figures working with me. And next thing you know, they're buying a big house. Then they're buying a nicer car. And then the problem is not having predictable income and cash flow into the future. And what happened to them is the income gravy train stopped, but yet they were still stuck with the car. They were still stuck with the house. And the reason why I know it was still a financial burden, even though I don't keep track of them today or even talk to them today, is we have another company, Replace Your Employer, where we're looking for discounted and distressed real estate properties. Well, guess what came on the scenes? This gentleman's house who hadn't paid his property taxes in 3 years. Now, could we have, paid the property taxes and gone that route? I just wanted to steer clear of it because I don't have a good relationship with this person. But just because you put on this Facebook image of making a lot of money doesn't mean you have any currently. You could be terrible with money. And I've actually seen where it's high income earners are the most terrible with money because they like to spend it on things and liabilities as opposed to investing. When they have the fuel, they have the gas there to actually set themselves apart and set themselves up for the future. But again, we're human and we make mistakes and no different than me. Is my burn rate $4,000 anymore? Absolutely not. I bought a lot more land. I bought a bigger house. I bought a nicer car, but my burn rate is still within 10 to 15% of my total income. So yes, am I buying more things and taking better vacations? Absolutely. But that percentage of what I spend is still within 10 to 15% of what my total income is. So that's where people get stuck, and that's why they feel fragile, is because they don't have a structure, and lack of structure creates uncertainty, and uncertainty creates stress, and stress leads to all kinds of health issues, including death. And the last thing I want for you is to not only not be healthy physically, but to be unhealthy financially. And the way to better prepare your finances and to not be unhealthy financially is to not consume a death pledge. And if you didn't know that, a death pledge is actually Old French for mortgage. That's what mortgage translates to. So you want a good first step, get rid of your mortgage. And I don't mean by paying extra on it. I mean, just replace it altogether right now. One of the moments that changed my life forever was actually meeting this hedge fund billionaire. Not a billionaire at the time, I think he is now, but worth upper hundreds of millions of dollars at the time. And his hedge fund was a specialty hedge fund, which they invested in mortgage-backed securities because of the high yields. There's a clue. Mortgage-backed securities, they're profitable. Why are they profitable? Because there's a lot of fluff in there. That's what the 98% of Americans are consuming to finance real estate as a mortgage. And that's why they're so attractive to hedge funds to buy up that paper, because there's a lot of profit on the back end. So that clue meaning, why consume something that has so much profit for somebody else when you could consume something that has very little profit for somebody else? So anyways, he kind of took me down this rabbit hole. Obviously, I was a mortgage lender at the time, running as director of operations for a decent-sized mortgage firm here in Nashville, Tennessee, and told me that mortgages are financial crack to middle America. That obviously sent me down a rabbit hole. Like, no way. I was highly skeptical. As most people behind this camera, I would imagine, when they listen to our videos, you probably are too, because this is against the norm. This is against the grain. This is against the indoctrination that we've either been taught in school or from bankers or from mortgage lenders. Hardly anybody else is telling you this. So I 100% have healthy skepticism. But along with that skepticism, come into it with maybe a debate in mind and say, okay, I'm going to investigate this and I want to have a conversation with them because here's how I could disprove this. That was the route I took. I went down that rabbit hole and was trying to disprove it. And the more I tried to disprove it, the more I proved it to be accurate. Hence why me and my wife decided to do it for ourselves. So in 2012, we refinanced our mortgage into a first lien position home equity line of credit. Fast forward 3.5 years, the house was paid off. Now, that wasn't by luck. That wasn't by some massive windfall. I didn't sell another property. I didn't sell my company. I didn't own the company. I was working for somebody else. So I didn't have this massive windfall. I did it with my cash flow. And yes, I was making more than the average American at the time, but it wasn't by a huge margin. My cash flow, I was cash flow positive. So I was making more, I would say substantially more, but more than I was spending. And that cash flow was speeding up my payoff process. I now restructured where I was keeping my money. Instead of having this vessel to store cash called a checking and savings account, I was no longer storing it there. I was storing it inside of my home equity line of credit, where it maintained 100% liquidity, no different than it did in the checking and savings account. So on a HELOC, you recast automatically every single day for free. So now I'm getting charged less interest, but now I've got another round of income that just keeps pounding it and pounding it. Next thing you know, 3.5 years, it's paid off. And here's the thing. It doesn't cost a single penny to figure this out. We have a service where we take a look at your finances, we do a SWOT analysis on it. Where are your strengths, where are your weaknesses, what assets do you have, what are the threats against your finances? And then we throw it into a calculation and give you multiple options of what that looks like for you financially, short-term and long-term. That is 100% free. We don't charge a penny for that, for you to discover what this looks like. So if you'd like to, actually click the link in the bio or down below. We'll put it in the notes below, and you can book what we call a discovery call. And you can find out for yourself what this looks like 100% free. We don't have any barrier of entry to understand what this could do for you. We want it to be free, and it's 100% free. So click the link below. So if you liked this video and you found it interesting, you found it impactful and valuable, do me a favor. It kind of rewards us for providing impact and providing value. Please like this video, subscribe, turn on the notifications, because we're doing these every single week and uploading more. That way you get notified for other videos that may change your mindset and the way you view money. And one day, maybe you decide to either give us a call or anybody else a call and explore this route and see what the truth is. And it could be life-changing for you. So I appreciate it if you could like our channel. Y'all take care. God bless.